Welcome, everybody, and Happy New Year to you all, if it's not too late to say that. But this is our first council meeting of 2026. And remember, if you write any checks, it's going to sound a bit old-fashioned now, make sure you put 26 on it instead of 25. And council, before you, for our first meeting, you see an agenda, and I'm going to ask for a motion, moved by Councillor Lane, thank you, and seconded by Councillor Locke. All in favor of the agenda? Thank you
Aye.
very much. That is adopted. Everybody said aye. Now, bear with me, please. In recognition of the City of Mount Pearl's commitment to foster respectful and collaborative relationships with Indigenous peoples in the City of Mount Pearl and beyond, we hereby acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Beothuk and the Mi'kmaq. Mount Pearl and the broader metro region continue to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Appreciate the minutes that you see before us, Council. Before we ask for a motion to adopt, is there any errors or omissions? And that came from the last meeting at 2025, December 9th. Councillor Antor brought down the budget. Do you remember all that? That was a month ago. All right. No errors or omissions. Thank you. I'll call for a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kiley, thank you, and second by Councillor Rice. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Any business arising, folks?
I'm good.
We have, under number 4, we have a presentation related to municipal and community fairs. That would be the provincial department, sometimes just known as municipal affairs. Minister Tibbs now. Long Service Award presentation.
Can I speak to this, Mayor?
Please go ahead, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. As we know, the Department of Municipal and Community Affairs are presenting Long Service Awards to mayors, deputy mayors, councillors since 1983. And there's milestones, and this year is a major milestone for one amongst us. They reached 16 years of service. This was presented at M&L Conference in Corner Brook. Some of us came back early due to inclement weather, so the presentation wasn't able to be done there. So I have a letter here from the Honourable Chris Tibbs, our Minister of Municipal and Community Affairs, and it is my distinct honour to present this to our Mayor, who has served 16 years in the capacity of Mount Pearl City Council. Is it 8 or 9th into the Mayor now? Yeah. So this was asked of me to present to you, and it is my distinct honor to do so. So congratulations.
And it has been my distinct pleasure to serve those 16 years with all of you the last few years, the last 8 years, I hope, in 4 years' time. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. I think we need a pick. We gotta get a pick of all council.
Okay.
Hold your breath.
That's the letter I'll read. Thanks, guys.
You got room on your desk?
Oh, yes, yes. Deputy Mayor, have we still got you?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Now, we're going to move on to corporate services. Is the next on the item on the agenda, and it is Councillor Antle, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Number one for us is invoices for council approval for $935,553.53. And if you look in your kit there, there's just a couple there I'll bring to your attention. The first one is for the City of St. John's for water consumption for the month of November for $205,000 and change. And there's another big one there for Avalon Coal and Salt. I mean, I guess we're using a lot of salt this time of year. And we just talked about that in our budget, how expensive it is for $244,142.84. And that brings us a grand total of $935,553.53. And I so move.
It is moved by Counselor Rantle and seconded by Counselor Locke. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? Thank you. Motion carried.
I'll turn the mic on again for the third time. We'll get it done right after. It's first meeting this year, so. Right. This is our payment register and purchase card report for January 13th, 2026. This is for the information of council. This is for December 3rd, 2025 through the January 9th, 2026 for a total of $4,305,023.41. And for the purchase card report for the same time frame for a total of $745,847.19. And that's just for your information. And I'll move forward from there unless there's any questions. No? Number 3 is regarding a reconveyance of an access road there on Topsail Road. The department recommends the city convey its portion of the undeveloped auto parts network access road reservation back to the property owner, GH Investments. So the resolution number 2026-01-004 be resolved that the city of Mount Pearl conveys portion of the undeveloped auto parts network access road reservation back to the property owner, GH Investments, and I so move.
It is again moved by Counselor Rantle, seconded by Counselor Locke. Any thoughts, questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
The next one has to do with our upcoming FCM, and this is a great thing for our city to take part in. There's so many things, there's so many learning opportunities for us to learn at this. And it's not until June, but the department recommends approval for the mayor and councillors Locke, Fry, and Lane to attend the Federation of Canadian Municipalities annual conference and trade show taking place in Edmonton, Alberta, June 4th to the 7th, 2026. Be it resolved, approval be given to Mayor Aker and councillors Locke, Fry, and Lane to attend the Federation of Canadian Municipalities annual conference and trade show taking place in Edmonton, Alberta, June 4th to the 7th, 2026, and I so move.
Again, moved by Counselor Rantle, seconded by Counselor Locke. Thank you. Any questions? I'll call the question. All in favor and opposed? Carried.
And that's it for corporate services, Your Worship. We'll pass it over to
Thank you very much. Public Works. We're going to move over now to Counselor Fry, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just on our agenda this evening is for information purposes only. And that's just to let you know, give you an update. In our roads division, our winter shifts are well underway. I believe Director Dollymont said we're almost halfway through the season. Is that correct? Give or take. We'll take it. Snow clearing and snow removal and ice control is being done as required. Our Parks Division, trail maintenance and grooming are underway. Our Fleet Division, ongoing service and maintenance. And under our UTM Division, they're doing, of course, regular general calls and water and sewer repairs, leak detection, lift station inspections and maintenance. And as always, the water levels at Babel's Big Pond are here in our kit. And as of January the 7th, you can see a little blurb in the brand new year, but they're looking really good. And they seem to be back to normal or almost normal levels there. And before I sign off, I just wanted to give a shout out. I was on Facebook the other day in a community group, and I saw this lovely post thanking our snow clearing operators. And, a lot of times it's easy for people to complain, but when you see something so positive and all the people responded in such a positive way, that goes a long way. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Yes, very well said indeed. Director Dollymont, we plow the roads. We do the sidewalks. We salt the roads. We don't salt sidewalks as a general rule. But winter came so early. We can't, or can we salt some of the trails? I think it's virtually, it's a challenge. Let me leave it to you to finish that sentence.
Well, it's a great question. So to date, we do not take on the salting of the trails because of a number of different reasons. One, the monumental task of trying to maintain 60 kilometers of trails to the expectations that if we did apply salt to it, that sort of just, safe to walk on. And for the other side of it too, is that for the naturalists, the skiers and the snowshoers and the animal that like to the people that like to walk their dogs and stuff on the trails, there's a concern for the salt and everything in that environment. So to date, we haven't went down that path to salt any of our trails.
I would add that winter came so quick this year that the Powers Pond decorations might not have lived up to the same expectations, if only because it was so difficult walking around on the new gravel that's over there, right? But it's a challenge to be able to provide, and maybe we should look at this, some trails, make them more accessible in wintertime if we could. I don't know if that's to do with salting or if it's more the material on or widening the trails and more asphalt, but I just lament the fact that Powers Pond we didn't see the same activity, but it wasn't under control of the department or the city. It was under the control of the weather gods.
Yes, and that's one of the takeaways that we had on the discussion earlier, that we're going to look at, the possibility of that, taking on maybe a section of the trail and offer those services in winters to come.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Councillor Locke, I think. Anybody else?
No, thank you, Mayor. No, all valid points, and this has come up before in past councils about snow clearing along the trailways. First, it was just plowing, in ways in terms of walkers or children walking to and from schools. But as Director correctly pointed out, the same message that came back is we have 60 kilometers of trails, and can it be done? Of course it can be done, but it comes at an expense. And, this will be a major budget discussion that we can look at for next year's budget. But we did weigh all the pros and cons in the past, and that's why when we developed our new St. David's Park, it was designed in such a way to be a passive park with a paved walkway around that, and we do plow that, we do salt that, it's well lit, we got beautiful Christmas lights up, and that was the compromise at the time, to offer a venue that was accessible to all year round. So, but I'm certainly not averse to having discussions at upcoming budget meetings. But as the director said, 60 kilometers of trails, and once you start it, then it's not just the salting. Then you have to clear the snow first, then you'd have to salt it. So again, I look forward to our budget discussions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I got Deputy Mayor Kiley and then Councillor Antle.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for bringing this matter up, and to my colleague, Councillor Locke's perspective and point. I also look forward to bringing this to a budgetary discussion. And I think you're right. It does take a significant investment to look at something like salting the trails. To say that we can do 60 kilometers and fully salt them, it would be a significant and probably not possible out of our budget as it is right now. And where I think an important discussion needs to lie is always that balance between creating an accommodation and a more of an accessible area, and especially a natural area that's offering all the reasons why having more of an inclusive area for people to enjoy the nature and beauty of our city is important. And so we always, like when we talk about accessibility and those sort of matters, there is always that balance between, certainly for those that are naturalists, we know there's been a history of sometimes individuals not liking paved paths because they feel it's not as natural, it's not as engaging, or for the experience. Yet we also know that there's an important accessibility feature to think about when we pave our trails, and luckily we do, and making them more inclusive and accessible in all sorts of ways for wheelchairs, for example. So I'm happy that the conversation is happening. Also, even the fact that us looking into it, because you're right, in the past, there may have not been an ability to be able to fund something like that, or maybe there's a technology that's changed, or even perspectives that's changed. So I'd be interested in even looking at maybe a jurisdictional scan or other areas that might be looking at this and doing it in a way that's, balanced, that's measured, and can meet a multiple of needs in our community. Thank you, Your Worship.
No, thank you. Good perspective from both of you. Over to you, Councillor Antal.
Just a quick comment on that. I'm on the trails, I think, daily. All right. And most people I see on the trails, we use clampons or we use these ice cleats. And the majority of people I see on the trails would not want us to salt their trails. They wouldn't want us to salt their sidewalks. And if we do the sidewalks, I think we do that already. But as we talk about St. David's Field, if you want a walk place, that place is fabulous for walking. It's always salted. It's easy to walk and it's easy, it's wheelchair accessible, and I'd like to continue that. But I think our residents, majority of residents would not want our trails salted because they're out there with their snowshoes and they're out there with skis and the kids are out there with slides and this kind of stuff. One resident, and I just saw it on Facebook, the salt that we use on the trails in St. David's Field, is that pet friendly? Otherwise, and that's my only question, but wouldn't want to salt our trails. Thank you. Is the salt pet friendly?
I'd have to confirm, Councillor Hantel, but I do not believe it's the same salt that we'd use on our roads, so I don't know if that would be pet friendly.
Yeah, I know as a one-time dog walker, the dogs hate it. It bleeds their paws or their pads on their paws, right? Yeah. Councillor Rice and then Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. No, the biggest concern that I would have, and I know we have many areas in our city where, there's trailways and stuff, but the streams and the rivers along those trailways is a big concern I got, because if we're going to be using salt, that salt is going to get into our rivers and tributaries, and we're trying to protect our wildlife and our fish stock. And I know that this has been done, taking the levels of salt that's in our rivers around the, especially the city of Mount Pearl, because we're more concerned about what's happening in our tributaries and rivers. That's the concern I would have, salt getting into our streams and rivers, and, and we've had many conversations with residents with this past Christmas, especially where we had some lighting in around Powers Pond area. So, and the pets, we have a lot of residents now do have pets they take with them, so that would be a big concern as well. But my main concern will be the rivers and the salt getting into the rivers and stuff around the city.
Thank you. Councillor Fry.
Yeah, all good points and all valid points all around, for and against. I just wanted to side with Councillor Antal in terms of winter sporting, because I know a lot of people do like the snowshoeing and the skiing, and this is an opportunity for people to get out and enjoy our trails as well. So to have a nice balance works really well. But in the meantime, for anybody who is talking about salting Powers Pond, just want to remind residents that that's where we have our free snowshoe and ski rentals. So I highly recommend going out and giving it a try. It costs nothing and it's an awful lot of fun. That's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Okie dokie, let's move on to the next committee, which is Recreation. Deputy Mayor Kiley.
Thank you, Your Worship. If you'll just allow me, I'm going to switch my to my tablet. So hopefully folks can still see me here. Because last time I accidentally switched off my camera when I went into eScribe. But I will
You were
it's our
with
first
us.
time back. I'll work with you. Okay, so I have two items for our agenda. One is an information note, and it's in relation to the Artistic Swimming Winterfest Swim Meet and program impacts to that. So, for the information, of course, and attention of council and the public, the Artistic Swimming Club will be hosting their annual Winterfest from January 31st to February 1st. 2026 at the Summit Center pool. And of course, during that time, there will be some impact and changes to programming, including some cancellations. So, for just the interest, if you're wanting to know more about that, just please check out our website, and it will be available. We'll probably do some posts at the Summit Center itself, but of course, full details are always available at our website. So that's my first item. The second is regarding a decision note, and it's regarding milestone event funding for Mount Pearl Men's Recreation Hockey League. So be it resolved that the request funding for $10,000 through the Milestone Event Funding Program be released to the Mount Pearl Men's Recreation Hockey League once all receipts have been submitted for the 50th anniversary celebration event on March 28th, 2026. And just a bit of background to that, September 2025, the Mount Pearl Men's Recreation League submitted a milestone event application, and they're celebrating their 50th years, and they're requesting, of course, monetary support, and the application, of course, included breakdowns of their requested funds. And through the submission, it was noted that the league is in one of the oldest recreational hockey leagues in Newfoundland and Labrador. So that's significant. This league started in November 29th, 1976. The league currently has 8 sponsors, which led to the success noted as City Tire and Auto, All-Star Rebar, North Atlantic Petroleum, Pinnacle Office Solutions, DBA Consulting, Neutralon, Precision Excavation, and Carpet Factory. So these major sponsors the major sponsor is Molson Coors, which has been their major sponsor since day one. So as you can see, we've identified some key considerations there, and I'm just going to move right to the resolution that the committee recommends approval to provide the Mount Pearl Men's Recreation Hockey League with written confirmation of the requested $10,000 for the 50th year celebration event in March 2026. Furthermore, it is recommended that the funds approved by council, $10,000, be released once all receipts have been submitted, ensuring that the cost of the event is or exceeds the requested amount. And I so move.
Thank you very much. It is moved by Deputy Mayor Connolly, seconded by Councillor Lane. Any questions, concerns? Councillor Royce.
Well, I'd be a bit remiss if I didn't speak on this. So I just want to say, I'm actually presently a member of the Men's Rec Hockey League in Mount Pearl, and I've been there for 32 years. But I had 1 year off, and I went back this year, actually, or last year, I should say. But it's really a great milestone, and it's nice to see them actually, putting everything in place now to have a 50-year celebration. I mentioned to the president, Steve McDonald, I had a conversation with him what they're planning on doing. So they're planning on having a pretty big event. But what's really nice is there's still people alive today that started that league back in 1976. So the likes of Billy Bavis Sr. and Bren Rumsey was part of that back in the day, and I think a few more of the people that are still alive, that actually would be nice to have them involved as well. They do, basically it's night out for people to play a recreational hockey game, a bit of camaraderie and friendship, and and I got to say, it's a great league. It's well organized and well looked after financially, and organized as really well as well. But I just want to say, looking forward to the celebrations back on the 28th of March coming up this year, and I'm sure a lot of people will be invited to the event. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Any others? Hearing none, I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Aye. And those
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Carried. That's the end of that committee report.
Yep.
I'm waiting on nothing there from community safety, but I do believe either the next council meeting or the one after we're bringing the community safety plan. I think it's 2 weeks, right? Yeah, okay. Looking forward to that. I think a lot of our residents and businesses are as well. Moving along, well, back to you, Councillor Rice, the engineering report.
Thank you, Worship. Our first one is the Neil Windsor Building and Reed Community Center roof and mechanical unit replacements. So a little bit of background, this one, the city issued a request for quotation seeking professional consultation services for the assessment, design, and tender preparation related to the roof and mechanical unit replacements at 2 facilities. One was the Neil Windsor Building and the Reed Community Center. The scope of work includes evaluating and recommending a new roof system for approximately 490 square meters of the remaining original roof at the H. Neil Windsor Building, as well as replacing aging HVAC components, specifically the heat recovery ventilator, a HRV, and the air handling unit, AHU at both locations, and an air handling unit at the Reed Community Center. So recommendations for the committee recommends that council approve awarding the contract to Vergier Menchington, architect for professional consulting services for the roof and mechanical unit replacement at the H. Neil Windsor Building and the air handling unit replacement at the Reed Community Center in the amount of $77,009.75, HST included, and I so move.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Rice, seconded again by Councillor Antal. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contraminded?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our second one is our community center, splash pad, ice surface pad, and the site upgrade changes, order number 3, a change order for the facility energy model analysis. So background on this one is, so the City of Mount Pearl is currently overseeing the design build contract for the design and construction of the new community center as part of the project specifications. An energy model was completed comparing the facility to the National Energy Code for Buildings, which is the NECB 2015 Reference Building Code. So the approval of the change order number 3 is to be awarded to JMJ Holdings as part of the contract for the construction of the new community center. The change order covers additional work required to complete an energy model comparison to the 2020 National Building Code for Buildings, as requested by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities for the Green Building Municipality Fund application. Completing the additional energy modeling comparisons may improve the project's eligibility for financial support and help offset potential costs for energy efficiency upgrades. So the committee recommends approval of change order number 3 to support the funding application with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and I so move.
It is again moved by Councillor Rice and seconded by Councillor Antal. Questions? Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Just curious here now, did I miss the dollar figure attached with the change order here? Is that something we'd know at this point?
Yeah, I don't think it's in the report, but we did have a number, I think, that we skipped. Director Batt, did you put you on the spot here now?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the report there, but it certainly should be there.
Okay, so change order number 3 is valued at how much?
I did see it in the report. It was the exact dollar amount. I haven't got it exactly, but I know it was 9,000 change. And it's not on this report there right now, but I know we did have it.
Mhm.
When you're ready, CAO.
It's in the amount of $9,350, HST excluded.
9,000 and change. And so moved, right, Councillor Rice? Good question. Anybody else? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And
Aye.
those opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have our capital works update. So this one is for the information and attention and consideration of council and the public. So on Farrell Drive, pump house upgrade, construction is ongoing. Our 2025 concrete works, construction is about 90% complete. Work to resume in the spring of 2026. White Boulevard upgrades, construction is 60% complete. Work to resume in the spring of 2026. And our sewage lift station on Mount Carson Avenue, construction is ongoing, about 65% complete. And under Jackman Drive upgrades, construction is to begin in the spring of 2026. And our water tower access road, as we know, we had a lot of snow and weather, so it's putting a bit of a, I guess, damper into our finishing up there. But the construction will resume the first quarter of 2026, weather permitting. And our water storage tank, a design build construction to start February 2026, weather permitting. And our Glencoe culvert replacement construction is 95% complete. A final tidy up will be in the spring of 2026. And our T-rail crossing, Commonwealth Avenue construction is 50% complete. And the same as their completion expected in the spring of 2026. And it is it for our report, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well delivered. But I do have a question. Does anybody have a question for Councillor Rice or Director Batt? But I do want to ask about the crossing on Commonwealth. We've created an island there, but have we created a crosswalk? As it stands right now, nothing has changed. Is that right? People crossing still should be using the, I guess you'd say, the historical way of getting across, which is coming up to the Ruth Park intersection. I'm just wondering, the fact that the island is there, does that create a little bit of a false sense of safety?
Good question. Certainly, right now, it should not be used as an active crosswalk. It should be still used in the other crosswalks up on Topsail and at Park. However, it will be able to be used once the signalization goes in.
We're just waiting for winter to break and then it'll be done post haste, as they say. That's your expectation, Director?
Correct. We're hoping for the spring to have that finalized. We're working through some details now, but in the spring it will be up and operational.
Good. I think we're all looking forward to that. All right. Moving along. We're going to go to Councillor Locke, Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 3 items here. The first is the occupancy permit listing for January 1st to the 9th of our new year, 2026. And you can see there for information, there are 2 listed on O'Keefe Avenue and LaSalle Drive. If there's any questions, we'll certainly entertain those now. Okay, our next one is a discretionary use application that we received from Acropolis Pizza. And they're seeking approval to install a bar at their restaurant location at 74 Old Placentia Road. And as I said, this is discretionary use. We went through our normal public solicitation procedure looking for public input. We issued our notices. There was no feedback received. I think till December 22nd was the cutoff point. We received no commentary or feedback, and as a result, we did not require a public briefing session. So our committee is recommending approval of the application for installing a bar there. I think it's not going to be a full-fledged bar. I think they just want an opportunity to be able to sell some beverages, alcoholic beverages there on the premises. So they're recommending that this be approved and we issue a development permit subject to our development, of course, meeting all applicable regulatory requirements and conditions established by our Department of Planning, Engineering and Development, and I so move.
It is motioned by Councillor Locke and seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Mayor. The last item for our committee has to do with the Taco Bell. As we all know, I think it was December 27th, they opened their new location on Commonwealth Avenue. And from a business perspective, I think it was outstanding in terms of the response. They were very well marketed. And of course, we're all familiar with the fact that it changed the traffic flow patterns on Commonwealth Avenue, which was to be expected. It is a commercial zone. It was rezoned commercial, I don't know how many years back now, probably 12 years ago. And of course, this new location, the only Taco Bell franchise in the province, it generated much interest, not just from Mount Pearl residents, but certainly from residents far and wide. So we've received some concerns issued about the traffic buildup in the east lane heading up north up Commonwealth Avenue. And of course, we responded. Our staff over the Christmas break, they didn't sit idly. They spoke with the business owner, who's been uber cooperative. They brought security guard on their site. I know our municipal enforcement was up there multiple times to try to encourage residents or people in their vehicles not to block residential driveways and not to block other commercial driveways and access to the Shoppers Drug Mart, for example, or the Barrett's Funeral Service. So efforts have been taken. I've driven there probably 6 or 7 times over the last 2 or 3 days. Certainly not to the same scale as to when it first opened. My last drive was this afternoon, and there were still, I think, 6 cars stacked in Commonwealth Avenue looking to enter into Taco Bell. So I'm just asking now, Mayor, I know you were interviewed and it went national. You did some interviews. But I'm just wondering if we can get an update, a verbal update from city staff as to just outline. I know you guys have been active. Our staff have been active. We're pursuing all options. And I would just like for the public record and, of course, anybody like my mom who's viewing from home to hear what the city staff has been doing with respect to Taco Bell. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Director Batt.
Yes, thank you. One of the conditions of the occupancy permit was that the building owner needed to implement traffic control for the first week of operation, which they did. However, the volume of traffic that's been generated there is a bit unprecedented, but we are working diligently between ourselves and Recreation Community Services to try to come to some solutions. Since opening, the owner has been very cooperative with us, implementing double stacking lanes periodically, as well as security. We do have a right-only exit on the site as well as part of the development permit. And the city has been conducting traffic counting for the last couple of days and will continue over the next couple of days as well. This information is going to help guide our next steps on how we proceed.
Thank you. Councillor Randall, I think you had your hand up.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I think we've all been paying attention to Taco Bell over the past, since Christmas. And I do walk that way here nearly, like I said, I do walk the trails a lot in the daytime. And I've been passing that place nearly every single day. And I do notice the traffic lined up. Some days it's 4 and 5, 6 cars deep. But one thing that we do stress, that is our commercial district. And when you look at that commercial district, we do also have McDonald's, we have Mary Brown's, we have Tim Hortons that also have lineups at certain times of the day that we kind of expect that's going to happen. But I think our staff are really going over and above helping the traffic. Like there's signs up there now, like pay attention, let residents out through their driveways. There's some residents up in that area, and I think we're doing a good job at that. But one thing I was noticing when I walked there yesterday is that there was a few cars in the lineup, but there was nobody inside the restaurant. If you get out and walked in, you could go in and sit down at a table. There was no issues to sit at a table. You could just go right to the counter. So the people, instead of being in the lineup waiting, if you park your car and go into a parking lot, you could get your food just without going through the drive-through. So that's an alternative that in case of standing in the lineup. Well, I understand the residents are upset or concerned about that, but like we keep on saying, it is a commercial area, and we try to maintain that as best we possibly can. Because if you go down on Park Avenue some days when we have Tim's have to roll up the rims, there's a huge lineup down there too. And we get by, and I think our staff are doing everything we can do to help that business out. And I think it's going to be short-lived. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there is an inconvenience factor here with, I think there's 7 houses between Taco Bell and the funeral home, right? And no doubt there's a change in when you look out your window in the environment, but the city has been very active, working within our regulations. Somehow I lost the microphone. Director Collins, we've been up there for the last 2 going on 3 weeks, and we've observed no loss of service for, because of the lineups there with regards to snow clearing or garbage. We haven't had any complaints from any first responders. There's 3 lanes of traffic opening up. How are staff finding it on the street?
Yeah, just to add to what was been previously said, our enforcement team are continuously monitoring it, visit regularly, working with our planning team, working with the owner, to try and alleviate some of the congestion when it occurs. So it's very periodic. In general, it seems very well. There are times that it's an inconvenience, to your point, but it's focusing on our city services, ensuring that they can occur when needed. So whether that's our snow clearing, garbage collection, recycling, etc., and that's been the focus. But in general, people are respectful, and when it comes to people's driveways and in and out, in general.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else want to chime in? Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, this has been, I mean, I know when you open a new business, as Councillor Locke said, you expect the traffic to change, but I don't think anybody could have anticipated this, what is actually happening. And I think it's only right and fair to acknowledge the frustrations that those particular residents are experiencing. I don't think any of us would want to be in that situation. I think their biggest concern is the safety of getting in and out of their driveway. Clearly, they can't reverse in when there's that much traffic, so they have to go head on in, and then they have to try and reverse out across 2 lanes of traffic, not knowing what's coming. So I do completely understand where they're coming from, but I do take comfort in knowing that staff are doing above and beyond everything that we can within our jurisdiction, within our boundaries, within our capabilities, I guess. And I also take comfort in knowing that the business owner is working well to try and resolve it as well. I just hope that in the next week or two that the novelty will wear off and that we will get back to some sense of normalcy. I mean, I can only imagine. I was very, very young-ish when McDonald's first came, and I remember there was a big talk of McDonald's, and now, you know, there's always still people at McDonald's, but it's not near what it was. So I do, and having traveled and seen Taco Bell, there are no lineups like this anywhere else except in Mount Pearl, which means that Mount Pearl is a great place to do business. Don't get me wrong. But I do hope that that the novelty will wear off. But I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the concerns of the residents, because I can only imagine their frustration, and we're all working together to try and find a resolution here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Kiley.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for all the comments that have been made thus far on this matter. It's, you know, I share Councillor Fry's perspective and wanting to just identify that, yes, it is really important to acknowledge that, yes, it is a commercial area. However, we know it's an area that has had people living there for many, many years. And as Commonwealth, you know, evolves and grows and that sort of thing, that doesn't make it any less somebody's home for a long period of time. And it's recognizing that, yeah, we have to look both at, which is really unprecedented, the amount of attention and great business that's coming to one of our local new businesses, which is an important part of our work, is supporting our economic development, supporting our local businesses at this time, and finding a balance for those members, whether it's 6, whether it's 60 residents that are living in an area that are directly impacted by that area. Can we find some balance to make their lives still manageable, or any safety concerns still addressed? And I do appreciate our staff's response to this and continued communications around this, because part of this is, I think, is multiple folks coming together. It's us as a council. It is the commuters themselves recognizing and being respectful that you're not just lining up for your breakfast or your supper or what have you. That is, right now, somebody's in and out of their area. And I think most often than not, people are respecting that. I am seeing those breaks. it's just a matter of ensuring that that continues. And so, yes, I just wanted to speak to this because it's a matter that it's important to residents impacted. It's a matter important to our new local business and our economic development, and certainly to our council of finding a really key balance. And I think these discussions are going to be important to that, and can keeping these updates as this moves forward, and hopefully find a resolution. In short order. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Over to you, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Worship. No, I just want to acknowledge it, as well, we all have concerns up there, and we've had many conversations since December the 27th on this matter. I just want to acknowledge, that Director Batt and Director Collins has worked really well with staff, and everything that we've been asked up there, we've done it. Been lots of comments on what's happening. I personally been up there every single day. I drive by there. Even on 4 occasions, I went up there and I parked for a half hour to see what traffic was like. And, traffic was down past Shoppers Drug Mart there. We got a sign up there now. There's a break in between the driveways right now. I was up there this afternoon. There's every time I've been there, the 4 times I've been there, stopped for long periods of time. The municipal enforcement came along. They got out of their vehicle. They went out and they told people to move along because they were using one lane going in there, and they directed traffic in and out of there, as well as staff from Taco Bell. And also, at one point, I did see a municipal enforcement up there with the lights on, right next to the lane entering Taco Bell, and they weren't they weren't letting any cars at all in there unless they park on the street. They made the cars go into the drive-through, but you weren't allowed to stop there in the roadway. So, I do believe we're trying to do the best we can under such, the circumstances are not normal. But hopefully we'll be able to work with the residents up in that area, and, staff and business owners, and we'll make it work out over the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you much. Over to you, Councillor Lane.
Thank you very much. I just kind of wanted to echo the sentiment of my colleagues here. I mean, every new business is going to experience growing pains. I think it's fabulous that they're getting so much business. It's wonderful. But I also understand the frustrations of residents with the added traffic. But similarly to Mark Grace there, I drive past there all the time. It's my route on the way home. And I have to say, over the last week, I have not once seen people actually blocking driveways. People seem to be being pretty respectful and leaving gaps in between to get in and out. Well, I understand, especially for residents that are living there, that, the fear, or I guess the disruption of getting in and out of their driveways. And I definitely think that's valid. I think we do have to let it play out and see if things die down, which I'm sure that they will. And in the meantime, our municipal enforcement have been doing a great job of trying to reroute traffic in that area. So, congratulations to Taco Bell on their great success in their opening, and we will continue to work with them to find a solution that's good for both business and the residents.
All right, thanks, everybody. I know staff have committed to next steps, and we'll leave that with you, CAO and staff, for possibly bringing it back to council at some future date. But I'm not sure it's going to die down as quickly as we think it is, but here we go. All right, that wraps up the discussion on planning and development. Now we're going to move to roundtable. I got you first, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just switching to my notes there. Oh, hello. Okay. I'll keep it very short. I just got one item here. And it's about, actually, it's funny, we were talking about accessible areas and places to go during the winter if you are experiencing, you are using a wheelchair, you're using adaptive aids, or you require something that has the safety of SALT. And I just wanted to talk about St. David's once more, and the safety walks and social walks that are happening. Actually, there's one happening this evening, a little bit after this meeting. But it's a great area, and I think it's one of those areas that we literally plant seeds, because the longer we have it here, the more we maintain it and allow it to be accessible for all seasons. it's just going to get bigger. Like literally, you're going to see more trees being getting large. You're going to get the nature. You're going to get all those beautiful things that we see right now in some of our more mature parks, like Lake Powers Pond. But yes, it's just one of the items that I do want to talk about because it's the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. But it's also we're heading into sometimes some of the most difficult times of the year when it comes to mental health. It's usually the time where, seasonal affective disorder comes out. We're not seeing a lot of the sun. The winter, whether it's snow, rain, uh, and everything else in between is keeping us inside. It's great to go outside and keep active. And one of the things I did want to promote is St. David's because of its accessibility, because it's free for anybody, and it does have. If you take a look at our website on Facebook or on our website online, it'll have kind of our offerings of when we do social items, whether it's a seniors walk, a safety walk, or a social walk. It's a great opportunity to get out. And especially if you're somebody who is experiencing accessibility, it is even harder and I understand fully and completely, to get out there and, get outside your house. Salt and ice becomes something very, very scary for somebody who has mobility issues or is risk of falling. So this is a great opportunity. There's accessible washrooms there. There's accessible parking, and it's a very nice terrain and beautiful place to go. So just wanted to focus on that and identify that, especially when accessibility and talks about places of how we do that. And who knows, maybe in the future, this could be another area when we're thinking about parks and we're thinking about trails, that accessibility might be something that we can bring in and put forward into a new planning and development that happens somewhere in our community. Thank you, Worship.
No, sounds good. Winters are challenging, but we're up to it. Over to you, Councillor Antle.
I'm going to keep with the trail theme too. But before I talk to the trail theme, I want to welcome King Charles to the chambers because I just happened to see his new pictures there hanging on the wall. All right. The Queen was there right up until the last meeting, and now King Charles is having an eye on us. So welcome, Charles. So, you got to make sure he's here. That's my one item. Welcome the King. Well, I'm hoping to go see him pretty soon. Anyhow, just keeping in line with our trail conversation. I am, like I said earlier, I'm on the trail nearly every day. I must say our staff are doing a fabulous job. The access to the trail is so easy. Our snow plows back away so we can access the trail really good. The trail groomers doing a fabulous job. It is a little icy, but if you wear your ice cleats, you have no issues. I really enjoy the trail. And most people that talk about it say the same thing. One issue, and it comes up every year. When you have a dog, please pick up after your dog. It's so annoying. And also, when you pick up after your dog, if you put it into a plastic bag, don't leave the plastic bag on the trail because that's just as bad. But I still see that. I'm tired of picking up plastic bags and dropping them in their garbage bucket. But our trails are fabulous. And our staff are doing such a good job. And I get lots of compliments when I'm on the trail, people saying, thank you very much. Anyhow, that's everything for me to start the year off right.
Cleats Are Us by Councillor Antle. Over to you, Councillor Rice.
They're on sale like Canadian Tire right now.
Always amusing when we got Councillor Antle around the table. So 2 items for me. The one is has been brought to my attention, actually. I noticed as well. Just want to bring it to the attention, I guess, of everybody in the city that the snow is starting to pile up now coming out of our subdivisions on our corners. The city, trying to get around and get most of the areas taken down, but we do have contractors that are piling up snow on businesses as well. So going in and out of main streets now, you better be careful exiting, getting out onto the main roadways. I notice up on my street up there, coming up to the top of the hill is clear back pretty good, but there is still, you got to nudge up the road there pretty good before you can see the traffic coming down on your left there. The other one I want to bring forward today is I had a good meeting with Director Bat this past week, and I brought to his attention about we have some businesses in the city that are pushing snow into the river. Not only the snow from the parking lots, but with that comes their salt that's on the parking lots, the garbage that's on the parking lot, Anything that's on the banks of the parking lots that've been there all summer is being pushed into our rivers. Bill Stoyles brought it to my attention, and I passed it along to Director Batt. But I just want to bring it forward here today because right now, I mean, we got an environmental inspector in the city. We had issues with business owners this past summer infilling our rivers. Our rivers along the Waterford River is getting smaller and smaller because we're infilling the river, and now this time of the year we're putting snow and ice, salt, and we mentioned about salting our trails back in the round table there when we're talking about our trailways being iced and snowed, and ice on our trailways and salting it. So here's another part where we're intentionally pushing that, and one of the business owners was approached on it, and he said that the contractor was doing it, but the contractor is hired by the business owner, and they're responsible for that. The other part is that we have the Department of Environmental with provincial government. We can give a fine here in the city, but we had a good chat with I had a good chat with Director Batt, and it looks like we're going to have to go through the provincial government, through the environmental department. They control and protect our waterways, in-stream waterways and tributaries, as well as pollution control and climate change. So doing all this to our rivers in our city is really something we should be doing, and it's against the law. We're not supposed to, within 15 meters of the river edge, we're not supposed to put anything there, infilling or pushing snow or ice or any salt. So I do believe we're going to continue forward with this. I know Bill Stoyles mentioned that he's willing to go to provincial government and meet with them and see what we can do about it, but the business owners can't be doing it. So I just want to bring that up today so we'll have documentation of it, and hopefully we can put a stop to it. Thank you.
Smart thinking. Good stuff. Thank you, Councillor Rice. Over to Councillor Lane.
Thank you. Just one item for myself. And it's a good news item. In 3 weeks, it will officially be our Frosty Festival happening once again. There's lots of exciting events planned, and I think tickets are already on sale for some of them. So definitely check out the agenda. I mean, it's always a great time of year to have it because winter can feel so long, and it's something to look forward through to kind of get you through the longer, colder months. So everyone should definitely check that out, and I'm certainly looking forward to attending the events again this year. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Councillor Fry.
Yeah, we have some really wonderful events planned, but we also have a whole lot of free events too for families, for anybody who might want to participate. So I too am looking forward to this. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful festival. The only thing I wanted to talk about this evening is for the information of public, the Mount Pearl Paradise Chamber of Commerce every year have their Best in Business Awards. And the nominations are open now. They close on Friday, this coming Friday at 5 p.m., I think. So we have some wonderful businesses here in Mount Pearl and hoping to see lots of them being nominated for the awards, for the upcoming awards. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Over to you, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Just reflecting on what Councillor Rice brought up, and perhaps we could put something on our webpage or on social media just to remind folks, like a little positive message celebrating our rivers and all the great work we do in the city to protect our rivers, maybe just as a gentle reminder that, it's a valuable asset here. So that's one thing. The other thing, Mayor, I spoke with a resident who was interested in talking about milestones that Councillor Rice spoke of. Mount Pearl Central High opened 50 years ago this year, which is a major milestone. So a resident reached out and is interested in trying to organize something to celebrate the first high school in the city. Yeah, it was at Mount Pearl Central High School. So I'll just throw that out there. The resident is interested in being involved with the organizing committee or what have you. And I'm sure, I know the online site, you grew up in Mount Pearl. I mean, I'm sure we could easily access all the graduates and attendants of Mount Pearl Central High. So I'll throw it out there just to as a notice to staff that I will be coming and looking for some suggestions, ideas, or what have you. Thank you, Mayor. That's it.
Go Huskies. Yeah, 50 years, hey? Wow, good stuff. Well, folks, that brings an end to our meeting. About an hour long. That wasn't too bad tonight. So thank you for your attendance, your attention, and all the hard work from staff and council. We're only a week into the new year, but it's going to be a very fabulous year. And I think Councillor Lane, Councillor Fry said it best. Can't wait for the Frosty Festival to get us through winter. So thank you very much. So let's adjourn on motion of Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Antle. We're adjourned.